Hello, Vianne here. It's now been over 5 months since I first heard that we had to go into isolation due to COVID-19. And during this time, I've rested, I've been anxious, I've been happy, and I've been sad. Yes, and I've even been excited because I'm working on book number 2. I've had times when I've danced in my living room and sang to the top of my lungs, and yes, you've even seen some of those times. I've had times where I've literally groaned before God, either in pain of not understanding something, feeling hurt, or simply crying out in prayer on behalf of something heavy on my heart. Maybe you can relate. But whatever the emotion of that day brought me, God would always bring me back to Him. He's the one who would always give me the ability to rise above whatever I was facing. And now, as I look ahead into the next 6 months or year, I want to share with you a word that I believe will provide you with some encouragement and challenge you in this season. It was January the 1st. I woke up, 2020. I woke up and realized that I just had a dream about, I was learning to make bread from scratch. I know, that's kind of weird. It was like, I felt like I was in Bible times, but it actually reminded me of when I was in Uganda. And we were talking about making bread from scratch. So I was actually in my dream being taught how to make bread from scratch. And I remember thinking, actually laughing, because I said, oh, my strategy is always and will always be, well, I guess I'm trying to learn something new, but my method would always be quick and easy and with the fewest steps as possible. But here I am being taught to make bread from scratch. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I got all the ingredients and I'm good to go. Well, got my bread, took it out of the oven after it was all done, and it was flat. Totally flat. I'm so confused because I said, but I had all the ingredients. What's wrong? Why didn't my bread rise? Someone said, oh, Vianne, yeah, you had all the ingredients, but look, you forgot your yeast. I was like, oh no, I can't believe it. I forgot the yeast. I made sure I had all the ingredients. I had everything I need, but I guess maybe in the excitement or even my nerves about making bread from scratch, but for whatever reason, I forgot my yeast. Well, there was an elder in the side of my dream, and he came over to me and he felt compelled to give me this spiritual insight. He said, Vianne, just like yeast is a key ingredient to have your bread rise, prayer is the key ingredient that God uses to make you rise. He continued by saying this. He said, don't let anything distract you from focusing on the task at hand. And the way that you used to do them before, well, that mindset will not be enough when you're creating from scratch. What God is doing in you now, he said, will require a new mindset. You must be diligent in all the things that God has given you to create. Yes, you have everything you need, but you need to be disciplined enough to see it through and not get distracted or forget to keep prayer as a must-have ingredient. Because if you forget prayer or don't make it a priority, you will fall flat, Vianne, and you will not rise as God intended you to. Boy, I woke up from that, and I think as I sit in the uncertainty of what I'm facing right now, and I look back at the times in this season where, yeah, there's been times I've forgotten to pray, or I've gotten distracted, or maybe in the hustle of a situation, I proceeded and spoke maybe without truly asking for God's direction. In this season, we're having to think differently and plan differently. We are forced to think of a new way to do things. Because you know what? The way that we've done them before, it just ain't working now. Or we're not allowed to do them the way that we did them before. We are all being asked to create something new in a new way. And from where I'm sitting, our mindsets and the way we used to do things will not hold us where we need to be and we will fall flat if we don't keep that key ingredient when we're creating something. I realized that the message in this dream wasn't only for me, and I knew I had to share it with you. Yes, we've all made bread before. Well, maybe. But we've not all made bread in this heat before. Maybe you want a quick, easy way like me. Or say, I got this, I got it. Get distracted and move on without truly paying attention. But we have not faced what we are facing right now ever before. And no matter what the method or ingredients you choose as your plan in the coming days or months, please do not leave out the key ingredient of prayer, or you will fall flat or maybe buckle under the pressure. And you won't rise as God had intended you to. In 1 Samuel 29 and 30, there's a really neat story about what David did after his village was totally destroyed. Everyone was so angry at David. Even his own people threatened to kill him because they blamed him for what they've lost. All their families and their homes, everything was destroyed. Do you know what David did? What David did was, I believe, what God is asking of us today. The first thing he did, he strengthened himself in the Lord. Then, after he strengthened himself in the Lord, he inquired of the Lord to ask him if he could go back in and take back what the enemy has stolen. You see, because you can find support and comfort in many ways, but if your strength ultimately doesn't come from the Lord, you're not going to make it very far. You know, David could even felt empowered. After he spent that time of getting refreshed and empowered, he could have took off into battle, half-cocked, running into battle and not asking God, should he go and will he win? But he didn't. He took time and he asked. And God gave him the green light in this season. With our feelings and everything on high alert, if we don't stop and take time to strengthen ourselves in the Lord, or through prayer and inquire of the Lord about the things that we're attempting to create or accomplish, I know me, I'll end up falling flat on my face every time. Because if we step out and fight battles that we're never meant to fight, or we don't have the courage that God desires to give us as you invite him into every situation, then we won't make it. When you're making decisions, when you're having those tough conversations, ones that you never thought you would have, when you're looking for a new job when you never thought you'd lose the one you had. Are you feeling like you're creating everything from scratch? Maybe you're struggling with things you never struggled with before. Remember, don't leave out this key ingredient of prayer. And now I'm going to repeat a part of my dream that this elder said to me. Said, don't let anything distract you. Don't let anything distract you from focusing on the task at hand. And remember, the things that you used to do before, it's not going to be enough when we're creating something from scratch. But no matter what your ingredient or what method you may use, please don't leave out the key ingredient of prayer. God is calling us all to rise. Take care of yourself and each other.